Hi, this is Capun Piso, going to the Grand Canyon.
Beautiful desert here in Arizona. Going to a SkyWalk. And a lot of these things are hallucinogenic. A lot of these flowers. Look at that. And a lot of people don't realize that. But it's May 24th. So look at the forest.
Millions and millions of years ago, there was an inland sea here where is today Arizona and the Grand Canyon. And plate tectonics, subduction, raised up and formed the mountains.
Going to the SkyWalk. But notice this. All the desert. There is no pollution. The plants, the oxygen. You breathe the spirit world. It's absolutely amazing. You feel so healthy by being with nature. This is very important to keep healthy, is to breathe the air, the oxygen, the spirit world, the beauty of Arizona, the health. Here. I'm here in Arizona, going to a SkyWalk, and this beautiful, magnificent desert of Arizona, desolation. And I picked up some Datura flowers. They grow wild here. This was used, and they're all over. And they're also in Europe. And you can actually, even the smell is kind of strong, but you can actually see, if this is prepared, you can actually do all kind of sacraments, and they was used in rituals. And you can actually see God with this. Amazing, and they come in different variants of colors, but this is an entheogen. It is used to see God and the spirit world because it affects your brain. Here it is. Continue with the trip. Immense, and they're all over the road. You see all the Datura flowers.
All religious beliefs began with ingestions of entheogens, you know, Datura flowers. Even the Mormon religion, Joseph Smith, ate some flowers, 1820s, and there you go. You have the Mormon religion, especially Datura flowers, entheogens.
Capun Piso, right in Arizona, going to a SkyWalk. Gorgeous desert. This is paradise on earth. But along the road here, you know, I spotted Datura flowers. Right here. I picked some. This is actually the devil's trumpet. It's called devil's trumpet because it's prepared by the natives, and it's also in Europe, the same thing, all over. And it produces, gives you hallucinogens. You can actually see spirits, and you can write a Bible. All the sacred books and all the religions were created by men after ingesting entheogens. Entheogens, the word means God within. In other words, the spirit within. And here it is. Now, if I eat some of this stuff, then I can write an interesting YouTube video. You know, it's kind of interesting that talking about entheogens and religious beliefs, the psychosis within. There's a National Geographic article about the world's first temple, 12,000 years ago, the first structure. And a lot of these scholars and archaeologists haven't seen this. I've seen it right away, but they haven't. And here it is. It's June. And world birth of religion. And, you know, I've seen this about 5 years ago in archaeology. But there has a lot of erotic things. There's guys with a heart on, but they never show it in here because the United States is puritanical. They don't want to teach the kids that sex was sacred. And the dick and the cunt were sacred, the organs of generation. And you see a lot of symbols here that they are hallucinogenic materials. For instance, this animal here, there's a lot of animals. They don't understand that this, if the frogs, they exude a white substance, and if you start scraping it and you're smoking it, and definitely these people knew about this 12,000 years ago, and then you start seeing God and spirits affect your brain. Accurately, they say that everything began with religion. Before they say, oh no, farming started and all that. No, bullshit. All these drugs affect, and the food affect the mind, the brain, and there creates all the, religion explains everything. Believing God explains everything. That's how civilization started. And, the first temple, it had all these phallic representations with animals. And you can see guys with the heart on in there, the sculpture. They would not show it in this book, which is ridiculous. And then you see, it's just exactly just like a vagina. You go into an area there that is dark, going back to the earth. Interestingly, they don't show the full picture of this sculpture. The oldest man with a heart on, ever. They don't show it in this book. It shows how puritanical and stupid United States of America is. And they corrupt the mind of children, especially the religious psychosis, the christ-Psychosis, the morons, teaching children and stagnating the intellect with them the truth. And you see all this is in here. Oh, you see the animals. You see the all that with the eagles. You see it was very sacred. And the snakes representing the penis. Phallic representation.
The penis was considered sacred in ancient time and revered. And you ingested Datura flowers and all kind of to see God. And the same thing with the lady's breast and the milk. And here you can see very much is a man with a heart on right here below trying to have sex with a bird, with a divine bird. And all of this is here. And I think National Geographic people are christ-psychotic imbeciles. And this, the lady with the goddess with the lotus flower.
This Captain Piso in glorious Arizona. Going to the SkyWalk. You can see the formations. This is headed to the SkyWalk in the Grand Canyon. The road here, Cholla Cactus. Beautiful formations. Geological formation. Look at those rocks. Millions of years old. Subduction. And it used to be at the bottom of the sea. Of the inland sea. Millions of years ago. Ignorant christ-psychotic people that believe in God and imaginary friends, just like the schizophrenics, with this piece of bizarre mathematical beliefs. They think all of this Earth was created 6,000 years ago. And the Grand Canyon, of course, is not that old. That's what christ-Psychosis does for you. And the effect of drugs, also like the Datura flowers, which created religion, when we came down from the trees.
By ancient living dwellings of the past generations of the Native Americans. Also, there should be Native American dancing going on in the spirit circle near the entrance to the SkyWalk. SkyWalk has a gift shop and a snack bar. The second location you can visit on this side of the terminal, your second viewpoint of the canyon is Guano Point. Guano Point is a fantastic view of the canyon. It's a landmass that sticks out into the canyon, so you get a three-sided view of the Grand Canyon at Guano Point. It's the canyon. The top of the hills over there are called the Kayaban Plateau. Down to the Colorado River is 1 mile. So you have 1 mile of nearly sheer cliff on the north side. SkyWalk is right straight up ahead there. It's a 70-foot glass bottom cantilevered bridge that extends 70 feet out over the Grand Canyon, and it's over 4,000 feet down to the river below.
Now there is a little trivia here for you so you can understand everything, because you have to connect the dots. I'm not a reader of only one book, only one view of things, either in science, religion, whatever. No. You have to read many. You have to actually see and combine and connect the dots to be able to understand where we're coming from. And of course, there is no God. God is created with the brain. If you believe in God, you're a theotard. Something is wrong with your brain. Anyway, this point called Guano Point, it was used, Max Factor, the cosmetic guy, mogul, in the 1900s or so. He's using the guano, the shed of bats, to actually create cosmetics. And you can do that. The Romans used to do that 2,000 years ago with the bird droppings. And then you create this thing and you combine it with little flowers and little things and the other chemicals. And that's how you create the makeup, the white makeup used by the ladies in ancient Rome. See? And you know how you clean your togas? With urine. They're called the fullers in Pompeii. They actually collect the urine from the bars. This is 2,000 years ago. And they use the ammonia in these big vats, and big, huge things, and that's what you clean your tuchus with urine, ammonia. So something new to learn.
Eagle Point gets its name from a natural rock formation. If you look over to the right outside the right side bus windows, and look at the hills right directly across from us, those first set of hills right directly across from us, there's a low area. In that low area, there's a little hump right in the center. That's the head of the eagle, and then the body of the eagle follows the cliff down below, and the spread of the eagle wings go way up the right side and way up the left side of that low spot right directly across from us.
Just like an eagle, right. Beautiful. There it is. Eagle Point. Beautiful. No wonder they call it Eagle Point. See it? Fantastic. Just like an eagle.
The eagle, in ancient time, lots of civilizations were the messenger of the god, representing the sun god. It was a messenger of the sun god because it flew to the sun. And it was a very tough animal. They didn't understand how they float in this force, which is the spirit world, which is the air. So anyway, a lot of civilizations had the eagle. The Romans had the eagle, the Assyrians had the eagle, the Native Americans had the eagle. And the eagle feather is sacred. Well, the animal is sacred. And actually you use pareidolia. Pareidolia is when you see sacred objects or sacred figures and shapes into regular objects. Like you see the Virgin Mary or Jesus Christ in a sandwich or in a slab, in a marble slab, or you see animals in the clouds. That's called pareidolia. It's the way the brain trying to combine figures. Well, in this rock formation, it looks like an eagle, and you can see that. It looks just like an eagle is going to get out of the rocks and fly away. That was a very sacred area for the Hualapai.
I'm here at Grand Canyon. And here at Grand Canyon, you can see very, very interesting spot. There is the eagle. That's a very famous spot. That's the reason they call it the eagle, because you can see the whole system that looks just like an eagle. But this is a very beautiful, beautiful area here. According to the christ-Psychotics, the Earth is only 6,000 years old because of the ignorance and neurological malfunction. And that's the reason they say that. And this here is the SkyWalk. You see people walking, and there's a huge precipice, old glass bottom, and you can see the whole thing. And
birds of prey like the
nice.
eagle and falcons have been associated with the sun god. They are the messenger of the god, especially in Egypt and all these ancient civilizations all over. And here in the Ark of Titus, you can see the emperor, the divine emperor, on the back of an eagle ascending to heaven, surrounded by hallucinogenic flowers are the sacraments. We use our mouth to receive the sacraments with our tongue and ingesting these Datura flowers and mushrooms and see God. It affects our brain.
Grand Canyon, this is a beautiful spot. Excellent.
And here is a magnificent feat of engineering, the SkyWalk. And this has been built by a Chinese entrepreneur on the land, the sacred area, land of the Hualapai Native Americans, the true owners of the continent. All Native Americans, they were here for 14,000 years. So they really owned the land until the christ-Psychotic Spaniards, Europeans, came over and took it from them and raped them and killed them and imposed their christ-Psychosis religion on them. But this is a magnificent place, and it's in a sacred place. So a lot of the tribe of the Hualapai were against the project because it was going to be built in the Eagle Point. The eagle is a sacred animal, messenger of the gods, which has been sacred in practically all civilizations, like in Egypt, the Persians, and all Native Americans. And this is very important. The Navajo were in the area of the Grand Canyon for thousands of years, just like Hualapai Indians or natives. Also, the Hualapai natives, they own like about 108 miles of this part of the Grand Canyon. And in this area, which is a beautiful promontory here, they built this SkyWalk. And There's still a rift, there's still problems between tribal elders that they didn't want. It was a sacrilege for them to build this tourist attraction on their land, but they need the money. It would be like building a McDonald's in the Vatican, and right on the Plaza of St. Peter's in Rome. Be the same equivalent. Or build a McDonald's in the Kaaba or near Mecca. So this was the problem. But this is amazing area, and you can see the eagle, the formation of the eagle, almost coming alive from the rocks. This place is absolutely magnificent and very healthy. It also makes you feel one with nature.
This is May 2011. I'm here at the Hualapai Indian tribe by the Grand Canyon. And they own like about 108 miles of it. The true Native Americans, but guess what? Again, I keep finding hallucinogenic flowers all over the place. Look at this. This stuff, you eat this stuff and you'll see God and write Bibles or anything. Beautiful. Oh, for the friend. Point, property of the Hualapai Nation, the true owners of the American continent. We are nothing but invaders. And yeah, Grand Canyon, they own 108 miles of it in the Arizona border. And this is the Eagle Point. And the reason they call it Eagle Point is because, as you can see, the eagle is a sacred animal, represents the sun god. In mostly all cultures have been the eagle as a sun god, like in ancient Rome. And here it is, the eagle in the rock formation. This was a sacred area. The eagle take the divine soul of the emperors after they were cremated in smoke to heaven, and it's back.
As I said before, the eagle has been the symbol of the sun god, an amazing bird floating in the spirit world. The ancients had no idea how the birds kept themselves in this spirit world, going to the heavens, and you can see the rock formation. It is exactly like an eagle coming out of the rock. The reason this place is very, very sacred to the Hualapai, and eagles being sacred in many, many civilizations all over all over the world.
It's quite nice. Grand Canyon. It's Guano Point, they call it. There's of course the bat caves underneath. 4,000 feet below.
Yeah, the view is spectacular. It's absolutely beautiful, and the sky is so blue. And this is the area where the bat caves were, where they extracted the guano for.
Hey, this is Capun Piso. I'm gonna explain something about how good shit is as makeup. Guano, for instance, was used here in the Grand Canyon. You see the bats produces guano that is used for max factor. Use it for cosmetics. 1920, 1930, he bought the rights. And this is his place where he produced perfume with shed of bats. Well, in Roman times, they used it also. The shed of birds. The shed of birds was used for the great Roman matrons to put on that white. So shed is good.
It is interesting. I existed 4.5 billion years ago. But I was in parts. I was a little parts that would be combined in 1941, you know, when my sperm, the sperm of my dad fertilized my mom's egg, you know, all this DNA, the universe is within in the sperm and DNA, and poof, 1942, I exited my mom's cave. Well, my mom was born in 1911. Good genes. So it happens that the 21st of May was her 100th birthday. Amazing, it was the 21st of May, which is the same, the christ-Psychotic moron was with the rapture bullshit. And then all the tornadoes came around, the true rapture, and they start taking all the christ-Psychotic imbeciles that like to pray a lot, no matter what happens to them. If the whole families get wiped out, oh, thank you, Jesus, because you saved me. Idiot, moron, something is wrong with their brain, those retards, so the theotards. So anyway, the 21st of May was the big rapture that happened. The rapture happened, but in hurricanes and tornadoes all over the place, which I made a video about that. But anyway, I went and flew to South America, to Colombia, to celebrate my mom's birthday, and then in the beautiful villa of my sisters, I have all these Persian rugs with all the symbolism, and I can read all that. And they look like Navajo rugs because the symbol, they have the Zia, which is a square like this, that it looks, there is, the Native Americans to them represent the SunGod. Sometimes you have a cross with the SunGod, the swastika of Nazi Christian Hitler was a representative of the SunGod. So all this represents the SunGod, a different faction, because it seems like this geometrical shapes. Like the mother goddess is a cube. If the goddess Kibele or Kaaba in Mecca, and the Jewish use the Tefillin, which is a shaped cube, is a sacred geometry of Pythagoras. So the symbols are sacred, and you don't want to mention the name of God. That's the reason the Muslims don't want any representations of any figure that looks like a prophet, because you have to imagine the prophet. You don't want to have like a Christian. They have a bearded Jesus, a black Jesus, and somebody that's white Caucasian with a beard and his Jesus. None of that. They have to imagine, and everything represented in geometric shapes and just the verses of the Quran, which is written from right to left. So when I saw these rugs, wow, all the symbolism is right there. Datura symbolism is
Here,
right there.
I was here in Arizona. The Grand Canyon is right here. And of course, about 3 days before I went to Grand Canyon doing my research, I went over to the coast here in Colombia. All this, Americas, North America, South America, to celebrate my mom's 100th birthday. 100 good genes. We are all evolved mutated primates that create God and rest the paranormal beliefs with the brain when the brain's malfunction is uneducated. And all this, all the customs, all go all around to here. The ego is always sacred, the penis is sacred, the cunt is sacred, all the organs of reproduction, birds are sacred and all that, and those are where the gods come from, along with stars. And if you take hallucinogenic materials and flowers, which are all over the place, all over the world, all over, they are the same thing. If you take some of those foods, you're going to see God. Today, in the 21st century, we know that we create God with the brain. The brain gets affected by chemicals, psychotropic substances. No such a thing as a God. If you believe in God, you are a theotard, you're extremely stupid and ignorant.
Why many religions, including the Muslims, they bow and they have to have that rug to be able to pray Tormeca, because of all the religious symbols in there. And if you want to make it even more fun, when you suck dick or eat pussy, do it on a prayer rug. Then you are closest to the gods of creation. Oh, and ingest sacraments, in other words, drugs. And this is very obvious right here. You see it like the devil's trumpet. Now, these were used in sacraments, hallucinogenic materials. And you see this part here, almost very similar to the blue lotus used in Egypt, and which is very highly hallucinogenic. Well, they have to. You have those substances to be able to, as sacraments, to be able to eat them, and then it works on the brain, and you start seeing God and spirits and all that.
Depicted is a lotus flower. Now clearly they aren't wearing these lotus flowers, but the lotus flowers are symbols, and what we learn from seeing these lotus flowers is that these young women are under the influence of the narcotic that could be extracted from the lotus flower.
Exactly. Okay, this is another rug I was saying, but again you see the symbol. You see the symbol of the cross right here, and also the little flowers. These are old Persian rugs. This one is from Kazakhstan. This is a very, very expensive rug. This is probably about $30,000 rug. This one here, very, very old. And you can also see the little flowers. You see, very important. And then also, always the little cross. And look at this motif. If anybody will think, they will think, oh, this is done by Navajo Indians. Because the symbols are very, very similar to those. And they're, continents apart. But they're not so. Because the imagination, look at all the... It's almost like the Zia of the Navajos from different continents. They all come over with the same ideas. This is very interesting. You see this? These flowers, these trumpets, they're highly hallucinogenic, and they're called, they could be used as sacraments. So in any religious ceremony, you do that, and then you absolutely be able to see all the devils and gods. Here I am in March 1942, a month old, with my dear cave of creation that just turned 100 years old. Let's keep in mind, we're evolved mutated primates that create the mind with the brain. We are stardust. You learn science, you understand it. Let's remember that faith is always inversely proportional to the knowledge and information of the people infected with faith. In other words, the more faith you have, the more ignorant and deluded and stupid you are. The less faith, the more intelligent. Let's keep that in mind. When you're young, you believe in fairy tales that are reality, and when you start getting more education and more knowledge, you realize that those they are actually fairy tales and bullshit. Let's keep that in mind. The more one knows, the more difficult it is for others to lie. If you believe in God, you are a theotar and you have a problem with your brain, malfunctioning brain. Pace di Roma.